I'm Joe Scurto from TurnuptheJets, and we are turning up the Warzone, everybody.
Let's get ready to rumble. Step into the war zone. 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 Friday night war zone. Friday night war zone. Hey yo, it's Phil Flames. I'm with Mike on the Mic and Joe Morley. About to bring you more heat. Welcome to the war zone. You can have a floor seat. Watch them on your iPhone. Watch them on your Galaxy. It's a sports debate show. Straight up out of SoCal. Gather around the laptop. Friday nights it goes down. And we on the radio. Coming to your locale. Got into the third round. Better bring the smoke now. Step into the war zone. 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 Friday night war zone. Friday night war zone. Step into the 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 war zone. Friday night war zone. Friday night war zone.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Joe Morley. That's my co-host, Mike on the mic. And if you guys don't know who this guy is, you will learn real quick. He just kind of told you, right? You just heard him, right? That's Joe Scurto. Joe Scurto from Turn Up the Jets, Turn Up the Facts, and Married to the Game. Am I missing something, Joe? Did I get everything?
Joe, you nailed it. You nailed the shows. You nailed my name. Kudos.
See, before I was asking him his name and I was messing it all up. Me and names are not good. I mess up players' names. I mess up guest names. I mess up my own name sometimes. But at least I nailed that one, and I'm happy. I know Mike's happy because he doesn't have to edit nothing.
Yeah, we got Joe, and Mike. We should open like a tool shop or something.
Yeah, right. Like just the most common names ever. It would work. It would flow.
It would, yeah.
Hey, earlier this year, Joe, if you guys don't know this, Joe and I had a fantasy segment or a weekly fantasy thing that we put out. What do we call it? Joe and Joe something, right?
Not your average Joes.
Not your average Joes. I actually came up with that for you guys, and you forgot it, Joe Morley. So thanks.
See, I'm not good with names. I just told you.
Your own name. Your own segment.
Not average Joes, and we did like our hots and our colds of the fantasy football, and we did. I mean, it was a fun thing. We had a great time with it, and now we're here. Now we came full circle. It's like a circle. It's like a circle. I don't know if you guys watch. That's one of my favorite movies off of Chuck and Larry when they go to the. No, all right.
You're old, dude.
Chuck and Larry, Adam Sandler.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Rob Schneider going circle. It's like a circle. Whatever, Mike, you'll get it one of these days when you grow up.
One day when I grow up.
As you guys can tell, Joe is a huge Jets fan, right?
Unfortunately,
huge Jets fan. I
Sadly.
mean, he has his Instagram. You find him on Instagram at Turn Up the Jets. Turn Up the Jets. So why not? We're gonna talk some Jets today. Let's start off with: is Sam Darnold the next quarterback on the move? Because we've seen 3 big quarterbacks go already, or are we just waiting for Sam Darnold to go?
I mean, my opinion, I think he is, but the media does the media thing. So today I just read a report that Joe Douglas is now waiting to really give Justin Fields and give Zach Wilson their workouts and then kind of scout them, watch film. It's just, I feel like it's a drag. I think they're going to trade him because if they're waiting this long and they have yet to commit to him, I feel like there's a better chance that they trade him than commit to him late. Especially you have the second overall pick. So for me, I said on my page a few days ago, I think Chicago would be the top dogs to land him just because they were all in on Wentz. Who knows? I guess Wentz and Darnold similar. I feel like top 3 picks, kind of cruddy situations. I guess Wentz was in a great situation when they won the Super Bowl, but maybe post Super Bowl rather. And they just got a lot of flack. So maybe Sam Darnold needs a new start. I think Chicago is going to be in the quarterback market because why wouldn't they? They have Mitch Trubisky. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's gone just because it's taken this long, but what do I know?
I think it's actually a good fit for Darnold with Salah. I think those two could complement each other very well just because I feel like Sam Darnold always, to me, when he gets on fire and when he gets passion into his game, he transforms a little bit. He goes from like just an average quarterback to a guy that kind of like reminds me of Baker Mayfield. When Baker Mayfield gets going and gets red hot, just plays with a lot of passion. We saw that highlight run early in the season And that kind of like re-brought those thoughts up to me. Every time I'm like, okay, I'm out on Sam Darnold, he does something like that brings me back in, makes a cool play, or I just happen to be watching the Jets for some reason. He makes a play that's like, oh, he still can do this stuff because I am a USC fan. And I just remember that he still can do this stuff. But I think he is on the move, like you're saying. I'd like to see Chicago also. That'd be an interesting fit just because they're looking for a quarterback. And if it doesn't work out with Sam Darnold, they can still be looking for a quarterback. I don't think they're ready to win right this second. So they have some time to figure out who their franchise quarterback is going to be. But wishfully thinking, I want him to go somewhere where I think they could turn his career around. And since the Indianapolis Colts now have a quarterback, I'm not going to say them, Joe, so you don't have to worry about that. I want to see him go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that would be a good fit for him. Mike Tomlin, they need some help at receiver, especially if Juju's leaving, as far as weapon-wise. But as far as the best situation for him to develop as a player, as a man, as a quarterback, I think Pittsburgh's the best spot for him. That could be looking for a quarterback right now. And he could even sit for a year if they bring Big Ben back, which that's been like you said, the media has twisted that in 20 circles also.
Look, this Sam Darnold, we're talking about Sam Darnold, right? Sam Darnold, the guy who sees ghosts.
Yeah, good thing Brian's on here.
The guy who gets mono, all that stuff. We're talking about this guy, right? Sam Darnold. We're talking. I don't know what to think of Sam Darnold, to be honest with you. Like, there's sometimes I'm watching him and I'm like, this guy's going to be the next great quarterback. Then there's other times I'm watching him like, what was that? Do I think the Jets need to move on? Probably, but what have the Jets done for him the last couple of years? When he's been the quarterback, who's been his running back? Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I mean it's been awful.
Perrine, right? Nobody really good. Who's been his wide receivers? Has he had good wide receivers?
The only good one they got rid of, and Robbie Anderson. So, and Crowder's been decent, but
wasn't he hurt last year too, or the year before?
Yeah.
Now, because we can't say last year because now the season's over. But the year before he was hurt, and now he went to Carolina and he did great. And then the one good wide receiver that you guys do have, Crowder, they're talking about getting rid of, right? So,
yep,
it's not like they helped Sam Darnold at all. They had Adam Gase, who is known to like kill quarterbacks. The only good quarterback he had was Peyton Manning, and he couldn't kill him, right? He couldn't kill his career.
There's no.
He tried. No, I'm just kidding. Peyton Manning was his own basically offensive coordinator at that time.
Yep.
And we've seen what Ryan Tannehill's done. So people are wondering if Sam Darnold can do the same thing. Now, can he do it with the Jets? I'm going to say no. I think the Jets, they're going to move him. It's just now we got to figure out where and what they're going to get for him. The beauty of it, like you said, Joe, the beauty of it is the Jets don't have to do nothing right now. They can sit back, go to all these pro days, watch all this stuff, and go, you know what? Maybe Sam Darnold is better than all these guys. Maybe he is. And then they keep him. Or they sit back and they go, oh, we fell in love with, Josh Fields or whoever it is they fall in love with that one of the pro days. And they go, okay, let's trade him. Let's get rid of him. But I don't think Sam Darnold's going to go for anything high. I think he's actually going to be traded for less than what we just saw Carson Wentz get traded for. So maybe just a second round pick. And I wonder if they could put the conditional things on it and maybe get a first round pick out of it. You would hope they would do. The Jets would be smart enough to do it. But I don't know. I knew Mike was going to say Pittsburgh. The Bears are always looking for somebody. I don't know if he is what the Bears are looking for. I'm going to go a different route though. I'm going to say, and what's new? I'm going to go San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to say the 49ers. They keep Jimmy G. They bring in Sam Darnold, and they have a quarterback competition there with those two. That because you're only giving up a second round pick. That's what they gave up for Jimmy G. You give that up, and you have a competition, and the best man wins. And now you have two quarterbacks. That's who I'm thinking. San Francisco does it.
Yeah, I feel like the fit with San Francisco would be awesome because they run the West Coast, and that's why people are saying that Sam Darnold should stay with the Jets because they're implementing that West Coast style, which Darnold ran in USC, which is why he was so great. But I think the scheme fit with San Francisco would be great. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what San Fran is doing. Like, are they going to keep Jimmy or are they going to get Matt Ryan? I know they were all in on Matthew Stafford. That fell through. So I feel like it's just going to be like that quarterback carousel this entire offseason. That's why, for me as a Jets fan, I can't stand that the Jets are continuing to wait because I just want to, I don't want to go through free agency not knowing who my quarterback is. I get it, like where they're coming from an organizational standpoint, but teams are going to be interested. I wonder if a team just said, screw it. Like, we need a quarterback. Let's just give the Jets a second and a third just to be guaranteed, or a second and a fourth. I know Washington's in there too. That's interesting. If anyone, Ron Rivera could probably be a really good guy to have in your corner. I mean, they succeeded with Alex Smith and Tyler Heineke. You know, it was crazy what they did. So I don't know. I think for Sam Darnold, it's best for him and it's best for the organization. But yeah, it definitely sucks to wait, because you got to wait now. I think probably won't find out until the beginning of April what they do with Darnold, because I think the workouts are in the end of March, I believe.
And another thing that would concern me with waiting a long time to get this deal done, we already seen 2 quarterbacks move. 2 guys that we looked at as franchise guys probably last offseason move. How many jobs are there available? A ton of potential landing spots for Sam Darnold. And with every day, with every deal, with Deshaun Watson getting traded, all these other guys getting moved after the draft, all these positions one by one are going to start getting filled, and the options are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you're going to see Sam Darnold go to some random team and be a backup. We don't want that to happen. I still think he has a chance in the NFL. I want to see him go somewhere where he's going to play, or at least play in the next couple of years.
Another team, and this is from my guy, Complicated Kai. He said Sam Darnold to the Dallas Cowboys would be a good fit in his eyes. He's a Cowboy fan.
Yeah,
and if they ever,
I know what that means.
Whatever happens with Dak, if Dak goes somewhere else, because we got Dak's on the free agent market, so we got to wonder where Dak's going. And if I think in like a couple days, you can start franchising the players, right? You can franchise tag your players. So we got to wonder if the Cowboys are actually going to do that again.
You better hold out.
Because I think it's only like 38 million. I say only. It's like going to be like $38 million to franchise them, right?
That is insane. For franchise tag, at least.
Coming off an injury just like he did. So you got to wonder if Jerry Jones is going to be like, hey, go test the market. They come back to us. And then, hey, they could be on the move for Sam Darnold. And now Dak Prescott's going to all the other teams. Because even though San Francisco has Jimmy G, San Francisco's looking for a quarterback, right? Houston's, if they trade Deshaun Watson, they're going to be looking for a quarterback. Carolina's looking for a quarterback. There's New England. I mean, the Jets would be stupid to trade Sam Darnold to New England, but they're up there looking for a quarterback. Washington, there's a bunch of teams still looking for it. But like you said, they can't let that market just go and close up on them.
Dallas. That's the first time I even thought of Dallas, but it's true. The more weeks we get into like closer to the free agent market, like what is going on here with Dak? Because it's going to be the most classic Jerry Jones thing. If he let Dak walk and traded for Sam Darnold, like that would just be the most classic thing. Not that the Sam Darnold thing would be a terrible move. I think more so just letting your franchise guy walk, who you failed to sign for numerous years. Like they're probably either going to sign him, like extend him, or let him walk, because $38 million for a franchise tag just seems ridiculous. And it doesn't seem like the smart move. Might as well lock him up full time, right? Lock him up for the next 5 years. I think that's what teams would do. But Jerry Jones, he never fails to surprise me. But yeah, Darnold to the Cowboys, I couldn't even picture that.
Yeah, Jerry, let him walk, Jerry. Let him walk, and he won't walk too far. He'll stay in the division. He'll stay in the division, and he'll head his way to the nation's capital. Yeah.
I knew Mike was back in Washington bad, and he wants him. So Jerry, sign him up. Franchise tag him. Get Dak back in Dallas before Mike gets his dream. I can't see that happen, because we don't want to see Mike come on and be like, I was right. I was right.
Getting that.
I told you Dak was going to.
I'm getting that Dak Washington football team jersey. I'll tell you what.
That would be crazy.
Day one.
Hey, but speaking about Dak, it leads us right into topic number 2, right? The most intriguing NFL free agent out there. We'll find out who exactly will be, because we could talk right now on a couple guys, and then they could get franchise tagged in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just going off of right now the information that we have. Nobody's franchise tagged, right? So just your most intriguing NFL free agent to watch this offseason.
So yeah, if we're deleting the franchise tags, that's the thing, because I see a lot of the top tier guys most likely going to get signed. But I think Shaquille Barrett is very intriguing to me. This guy, is a certified edge rusher. And I think that is one of the hardest positions to get in the league. And you give him whatever he wants. This dude had 19 and a half sacks in 2019. He came back, not as many sacks as this year. I think around it was like 8 to 10, but still he just wrecks havoc. And look what he did in the Super Bowl. He's a game changer. And to have him as alongside those other beasts in Tampa Bay was just crazy to see. But Shaq Barrett would be great to any team. And he's only at 28. He's hitting, I think, the peak in the prime of his career. This guy wants to get paid. He's not going to get franchise tag. I think they're either going to lock him up or they're going to let him walk because they have about 5 to 10 other guys that they have to deal with. And unfortunately, all of them are starters. But Barrett, to me right now, probably the most intriguing just because not too many legitimate Pro Bowler caliber edge rushers hit the market. So if he's on the market, he's going to be very, very valuable to whoever decides to, just secure the bag and land him.
And Barrett's a dog. He's a guy that you could plug into any D line in the league and he's going to help you out no matter how good or bad your D line is. The dude is a dog. I love him. And I'm going to stay with the same theme. I actually was originally going to pick Dak as my most intriguing free agent just because I wanted to talk about him on the show. It's been a while since we talked about Dak Prescott and I'm used to talking about him every day. But we already talked about him. So I'm going to stick with D-line. I think the Broncos are going to cut Von Miller and he's going to be a free agent this year. I think that will be a very intriguing NFL free agent because he brings an interesting style of play to the game, right? Very quirky, very, different from your average D end. He can kind of cover, drop back into coverage if they absolutely need him to. He can do a lot of things if he's healthy. And that's what makes it intriguing to me because he's probably going to go for a lot cheaper than he's getting paid right now if he gets cut. So I'm going to take Von Miller as my pick, and let's see where he ends up landing. What you got, Joe?
No, I like the Von Miller one, but he's not really a free agent right now, and that's how Mikey is. He's always going a little bit too
outside
far.
the box.
There's a lot of good free agents that I'm watching, like that I want to like. I really want to know where J.J. Watt's going. Allen Robinson was one that I haven't been high on, but the guy. I think I'm going to have to go with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, I think I want to know, was he just, good because of Aaron Rodgers, or can he go to a team like Buffalo or Atlanta and possibly be that missing piece that takes him, to the next step, Atlanta to the playoffs, Buffalo to maybe the Super Bowl. So Aaron Jones is sitting there and you got to wonder, are the Packers even going to franchise him? Like, can they franchise him? Do they have the money to franchise him? They brought in, they have what's his name? Williams there already.
AJ Dillon.
And then they brought in AJ Dillon last year. So
in the second round,
they were already thinking about letting him go, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a rumor around playoff time that he signed an extension and it was quiet, but we haven't heard nothing now. It would have already came out now. So, and then the Packer fans turned on Aaron Jones. The Packer fans turned on Aaron Jones after that playoff loss.
Yeah.
So that might have left a bad taste in his mouth. So I'm wondering, that's going to be my intriguing guy. I want to see Aaron Jones if he could be that missing piece on some of these teams.
It's crazy that I think Aaron Jones is gone, and I think you said Buffalo would be the ideal spot because you can't have Josh Allen throwing the ball 40 plus times. But it's crazy to think about that. Aaron Rodgers, of course, he's still unbelievable. He still wins the MVP, but why? Last year in the 2020 draft, in the first round, you draft the quarterback. In the second round, you draft the running back. Oddly enough, those are their two best positions. I think they probably saw, hey, we're probably not going to give the money that Aaron Jones is going to get, and that's why they get Dillon. But it doesn't really make sense to me because I think Jones is a dog. Again, I'm not a guy who wants to overpay for a running back, but if I'm the Bills, I'm someone like that, for sure. I would definitely just do it because he's been as consistent as there can be over the last 2 years. So,
hey, the Jets should throw some money his way. Honestly, the Jets should throw some money his way.
I don't know. I'm scared after Le'Veon Bell. I don't know. I want to go like Marlon Mack or something. Just throw him $6 million.
It'll be worth it. You'll keep him out of Buffalo and you'll acquire him. A win-win situation. Man, if the Packers do not extend Aaron Jones to a long deal, they do not bring him back, they better spend this offseason. They won't. That's all I'm going to say about it. They better be either trading for elite players, signing up all the elite players. They better go full Tampa Bay Buccaneers this offseason. or Packers fans and Aaron Rodgers are going to get together and burn down the entire city of Green Bay.
Well, their center too. Like that's another guy
He's gone.
I want to mention.
Go.
Corey Linsley is a very intriguing option. This guy's a all-pro center. Again, center is one of the more valuable positions that you don't really think of, and this guy is an elite center. And imagine if Rodgers loses the guy in front of him and the guy behind him. Like, what are you going to do?
they can go ahead though. They can go ahead and let the center walk because I got some good ideas for him.
Okay.
One of the Pouncey Bros. Well, both Pouncey Bros retired, so
I see where you're going with this.
No,
anyways,
I
go
know
ahead,
where
Joe.
we're going,
I'm not going to say it.
Time out. We're going to call.
You have a good quarterback also, though. This team has a good quarterback also. The team I'm thinking of.
The team you're thinking about, I don't know if they have a good quarterback because there's a free agent. There's a guy who's a free agent right now, tied in out there, and he said he wants to go to a team with a good quarterback.
Yeah, if he goes and leaves the Chargers, he wants to go to a team with a good quarterback, which he's leaving the Chargers. It's basically.
If you guys don't know who I'm talking about Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is the tight end of the San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know where to call them because really they don't have a home. They share, they pay rent. They're like the guy who comes and crashes on somebody's couch in the Ram Stadium and they just won't leave.
He's the tight end of free agency. He ain't the tight end in the Los Angeles Chargers. And I love Hunter Henry. I'm one of the biggest Hunter Henry fans. My wife follows his wife on Instagram and always is like, did you see what Hunter Henry's wife posted today? I'm like, no, honey, I don't follow Hunter Henry's wife. I'm sorry. But I'm so excited that you do. I'm glad you're invested in Hunter Henry. But the problem is he's demanding like top 3 tight end money, top 5. And no offense to Henry, even when he's fully healthy, he's not quite on that tier. And I'm seeing a lot of reports that he's asking for 10, 12, 13 million a year. That's Travis Kelce, George Kittle money. I can't sign off on it. As a fan, I can't sign off on it. As much as I love the guy, we got to let him walk. We need a faster, quicker, stronger tight end anyways. The guy that plays at Florida right now or did last year for their college, Kyle Pitts, is who I kind of am eyeing with our 13th overall pick if we can get him to fall that far.
I'm calling it right now. I'll call it right now. Hunter Henry to Seattle. Boom.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I like that. A lot of people are saying New England also because Bill Belichick actually wanted to try and draft him. The Chargers swiped him up a couple picks before New England could.
I could definitely see him in New England for sure. And yeah, I mean, if I was you too, I'm not giving Hunter Henry that much money either.
Exactly.
Due to, I mean, when he's on the field,
10 max.
Right. Yeah. 10 at the absolute max. What about if they don't get it, Kyle Pitts, guys? Sorry, Joe. I'm continuing this Chargers talk real quick, but Gerald Everett could be a guy too.
Yeah.
Intriguing, bigger, faster. Follow Staley. Who knows? But yeah, I'm not giving him 14 mil unless his name is Kittle and Kelce. But what about Ertz? I mean, Ertz can be another guy.
We're already attached.
So we'll see.
I just brought up Hunter Henry because I don't know what he was, if he was misquoted or what. Maybe he just didn't know what he was saying. But to come out and say you want a team with a good quarterback, like you just played with Justin Herbert last year, rookie of the year, and I'm a Raider fan, and I liked what I saw in Justin Herbert. I mean, I am wearing a Justin Herbert Oregon shirt. No, it's not Justin Herbert, but I am wearing. So come on, you can't bash Justin Herbert on the way out. If that's what he was trying to do, I don't know. Maybe he was just misquoted, but
you're digging in this way too far. They asked him, I watched the interview. They asked him, if you're not going to be a Los Angeles Charger, what are some locations that you're kind of looking for? And he said, I want to go to a team with a good quarterback that's competitive. Is that bashing Justin Herbert?
In my eyes, it is. Because he wants a good quarterback, right? So why would he go to New England then? Why would he go to New England?
That's just where I think is going to be trying to acquire him. Maybe he won't go to New England.
Maybe he's talking about his haircut instead, Joe. He wasn't talking about Justin Herbert's play. It was more so.
It was a big difference when Justin Herbert cut his hair. He did look a lot different.
And he was still elite. So
maybe better without the hair.
Right. I think. Yeah, I was gonna say he looked a little quicker. He looked a little quicker with that, whatever cut that was. But
a little scary for the AFC West. That's why I am 100% against Deshaun Watson to the Broncos. Don't even ask me. I am against it. Do not even want to talk about it.
Well, good. We're not going to talk about it.
Good. I don't think you want it either.
No, I don't want. Like we've heard it. Like you heard the GM. Like when they call the Texans, and this is what I've been reading. And when they call the Texans GM, and they go, What about Deshaun Watson? He changes the subject. He doesn't even talk about it. Like it's not. They're not trading him.
Yeah, apparently he wants nothing to do with it, which is, I don't know. I don't know what the Texans' end game is here. I have no idea. They're an absolute mess because they still don't have a first round. I don't think they have a first or a second round this year. Like, how are they going to rebuild around their franchise quarterback? And then you go hire a coach who's 65 years old. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're waiting. I feel like they should trade him, but they're going to be very stubborn. I think it's more so because they have the new GM there. They have the new coach. I'm sure the GM just want to come in and be like, yeah, we traded Deshaun Watson for my first ever move. So maybe he's waiting. I don't know. I want that to stop too. I see a new rumor, and especially with the Jets, that's not going to happen. But I see so many rumors about it. I have no idea what the Texans are thinking, man.
Well, I have a message to John Elway if he is thinking about getting Deshaun Watson. John Elway, I know you watched the show. I know all the Broncos talent evaluation reps. They all watch the show. I'm telling you, I've watched so much tape on this kid. Drew Lock is your guy. Keep him around for 15, 20 years. Please. We already got Patrick Mahomes to deal with. Y'all can just keep Drew Lock, and we can keep running this thing back where he throws 3 touchdowns one game, and the next 3 games he can't break 1 touchdown and throws 6 interceptions over a 3-game span. Let's keep Drew Lock around in Denver. Fans like him too. He does the backpack thing. Every time he does
hate. That's all Mike's doing right now is hate. I'm
trying to help the Broncos out.
For a second, I thought you were serious, and I was like, "Oh, you're a Chargers fan." That makes sense. I was like, "Wait, Drew Lock." That's another team. There's so many teams that need a quarterback, and I really hope this offseason lives up to its potential. I hope that like not every single top free agent, especially who we've been touching upon, just gets tagged, Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. So Locke threw 15 interceptions this year, right? He was tied with who? Carson Wentz. And now Carson Wentz goes to the Colts, and all of a sudden he's a good quarterback. Now he's going to lead the Colts, like some people are saying, to a Super Bowl. But what's the difference with him and Drew Lock? Just because Wentz has a Super Bowl ring, but he didn't win it. He didn't go and win it. He took him there and then got hurt, and Nick Foles had to win it for him, right?
He's had like 3 productive.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Carson Wentz was a borderline like top 10, top 12, definitely top 15 quarterback for multiple seasons, back-to-back consecutively. And then he fell off the face of the earth in the probably worst situation in the NFL towards the end of last season, especially. Drew Lock, that was his first full season. And I watched a lot of tape on Drew Lock because my buddy was talking shit to me that Drew Lock is good and that I was missing something, and I wasn't missing something. He's bad. He's bad. He throws a lot of passes off his back foot when he doesn't even need to. There's no pressure. He's just standing in a clean pocket and throws an air pass off his back foot. I mean, a lot of his bad throws and everything that you saw in that 4-interception Raider game this last year was like the definition of Drew Lock. But then when Drew Lock plays at his absolute best, he's just like an average quarterback. So like his floor shouldn't be even playing, and his ceiling is average. To me, that's what my evaluation was. I spent about 2 hours on this. So whatever you guys want to get from that.
I spent about 30 seconds going through Drew.
Until you had to shut it off.
I'm not going to say that he's horrible, but I'm just saying
he's horrible.
He has 2 years in the league, 2 years in. He's still 24 years old. You haven't really let him develop. He was without his number 1 wide receiver this year. You know what I mean? So he had 5 games, last year where he went 4-1, came in this year, COVID season. They had that one game where he didn't even get to play because of everybody got but I thought he played a little bit better down the stretch. I mean, not the Raider game. You take the Raider game out of it, but there was some games where he showed promise. But I don't know. I just think it's too early to write him. I'm not saying make him bring somebody in. Yeah. But why are you going to write somebody off who's just 24 years old, barely 2 seasons in the league?
If they want to give him another chance, I think the best chance for him is going to be either just give 1 more year straight up, or bring in a young guy to compete behind him. And if the young guy doesn't beat him, he doesn't beat him. It's no big deal. You can draft a quarterback in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round this year and bring someone to put some pressure on him to improve. But my thing is his mechanics are bad. His mechanics are broken as a quarterback. And no matter who your weapons are, you could put the best receiving core on earth in Denver. I mean, you can't fix bad mechanics and being lazy, just straight up lazy. Like he'll have a picture perfect play, and then the next play, it's like, what the hell did you just do? Why? dude. You got a guy wide open right in front of you, and you rolled out to the left, tried to juke out a D lineman, threw off your back foot, and threw it straight at a defender. So that's the thing with me with Drew Lock. If he wants to be a starter in the league for a long term, especially, he needs to individually by himself completely fix his game.
Yeah, I feel like the I guess them drafting him was a swing for the fences anyway, because he was only a second round draft pick. It's not like they have a lot invested in him. So I feel like they're more likely to move on, because even in the middle of last year, we heard that, oh, listen, if he continues to struggle, we're cutting ties with him. I could see them bring another guy. And I don't think they're just going to say, one bad year, see you later. But again, I think maybe second round draft pick. It's not like they win all in on him. It's not like Carson Wentz and you spent a second overall pick and more draft picks, because I believe they traded up to get him, if I'm not wrong. And that's the reason why I'm fine getting rid of Locke. I didn't really see much in him either. I've only watched a few games of him. And I remember he played against New England and they kicked all field goals and he was awful. He was terrible, but Cam Newton was just even worse. It was the worst quarterback game I've ever watched in my life, but his mechanics worry me. I feel like if you do get his weapons back, maybe you give him another shot, but I definitely like bringing someone in, whether it is a young guy, like you said, Mike, or it's even a veteran. Again, the Broncos are that weird team that I don't know what direction they're going into right now.
They also need to help the run game out a lot.
For sure.
That's something that helped out Baker Mayfield's career. And in my opinion, kind of saved his career, is they fully went in on, they said, okay, we understand we got a guy that isn't an elite quarterback in the NFL, but he has the potential to lead the team, which is what he did this last year. He did a very good job at that, but they went ahead, they got Kareem Hunt, they beefed up the O-line, and they said, all right, we don't need Baker to throw 40 passes a game. Okay, we can go ahead and just have him do the bare minimum. Got him receivers that are really good after the catch as well, which helps out with these kind of quarterbacks. All you got to do is throw the slant, throw a screen, whatever it might be. Maybe the Broncos can do something like that. They have good running backs. They didn't have a good run game last year. Lindsey was hurt most of the year. I think Lindsey's a little bit better than Melvin Gordon.
Anyways,
love that guy.
I don't want to get into the Melvin Gordon conversation. I was going to, but I'm gonna pull it back right now. I'm just saying, people saw, like, there was a big difference in Drew Lock this year, like from year one to year two, and people went from the Broncos going to the Super Bowl and hyping that train up to all of a sudden get rid of Drew Lock. He sucks. He's done after one COVID season. I don't know. I'm being too light on the players, I think, this year, because especially like the younger players that were rookies 1 year, 2 years, that didn't get all the mini camps, didn't get all the training camps. I'm just finding excuses for some of these guys. That's just me. So I don't know. People saw something in him a year ago, and then all of a sudden he's trash. I don't buy it that soon.
I like what you're saying, Joe. And with no training camp and COVID and all that stuff running rampant, that would make it so much more impressive that a rookie quarterback would come out and have an all-time great rookie season.
Let's move on. Like, really? Like, are we just going to circle back to the Chargers every time we can? I mean, I can talk about.
I was talking about Burrow's first 11 games or whatever that he played. What the hell are you talking about?
Get out of here, Mike. Welcome to the Joe and Joe show.
After Average Joe's, you're still
Average Joe show.
The Joe show. Really, come on. Like, I'm sorry, folks, that you guys are watching out there. Justin Herbert, I know you're watching. You are a great quarterback, and you're welcome on the show anytime. But
Hunter Henry doesn't like you.
Hunter Henry hates you.
Hates your haircut. Hates everything about him.
You look like Zelda.
Hunter Henry can go play in Detroit and then they could have two tight ends set over there, him and Hawkinson with Anthony Lynn. If you want to talk Chargers, let's talk Chargers.
Yeah, well, he might not stay in that. He might not stay on the field though, because Campbell might just take a chunk out of his kneecap or something. I don't know that guy. I don't know about him, but
hey, so the number one goal is to win championships, right? And if you want to go the Dan Campbell way and, like you said, take people's kneecaps out, and you want to go, I want to know right now the hardest championship to win in professional sports. What do you guys think it is?
That's tough. I'm gonna say the NFL just because of the toll it takes, the sport takes on you. It's really strategical. You play once a week. And I mean, a team hasn't repeated since '03. It's really hard because there's a lot of teams that never even been to a Super Bowl, never won a Super Bowl, maybe have only won one. It's just so tough to win a Super Bowl, even though Tom Brady makes it look easy. And that might kind of defeat what I'm saying here, but it's such a tough game. I think only playing 16, you may think it's easier, but it really isn't because it's the wear and tear on your body. And a football team is 53 guys. That is a lot of guys to win with, a lot of coaching, a lot of coaches on that coaching staff, trainers. There's just so much that goes into building a football team. So I would have to lean a Super Bowl might have to be the toughest.
Football is the ultimate team sport. One bad teammate on a team can derail it if it's a certain person. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Those Steelers teams should have won Super Bowls together, but they didn't because of those guys.
In the Super Bowl this year.
Egos. Yeah, congratulations to them. Congratulations to them.
Fifth string.
They went to a different team where everything was fixed. Everything was fixed for both of them, honestly. All they do is just walk in and just not say anything. And they could just go ahead and ride to the Super Bowl. I was going to say football too, but I wanted to go a little bit different because you know how I am. A little outside the box, probably can piss Joe off a little bit. I'm going to say a gold medal in the Olympics in almost any sport or any game is probably the hardest thing to do in the sports world globally, nationally, and all of the above. For one, you only get every 4 years to try and win the championship, the ultimate win of your sport. Once every 4 years. And if you have a bad day on that one day out of the 4 years, you're done. Then you got to wait another 4 years until it's your turn. That's why I think Michael Phelps is one of the most impressive athletes that I've seen in my lifetime, despite all, the weed and all that kind of stuff and the controversy with him. He only had a couple chances to win all those gold medals. And every single time that man hopped in that pool and on the grandest stage, he won gold medals for 16 years, whatever it was. 12 years. The dude was ridiculous. I'm going to say a gold medal in the Olympics is the hardest championship to win. I know I stretched it out a little bit. We're thinking NBA. We're thinking MLB. Maybe.
No,
I like that.
We said that's a good one. It's a good one.
It's good.
Like you have to train and that's the worst thing about watching the Olympics is these guys have trained like their whole life in the last 4 years and they make like figure skating. They fall on the ice or they do like one bad move and you can see it in their eyes. Like I wasted 4 years to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks for them, but yeah, to win it all, that's awesome. And that's I agree with you. It's hard. It has to be hard. I mean, Michael Phelps probably will tell us it's the easiest thing in the world. But, I don't know.
Look easy.
When I was thinking about this question earlier, I was like, okay, baseball plays 162 games, but really in baseball, you could buy your team. You could buy a championship, right? Or get a team close enough where they can make some magic happen. Things go wrong and you would lose, but more likely you could build a good team. Same thing in basketball. You could build the big three and more likely run the table. So I'm going to go with NASCAR. And no, I saw you guys' face right there. You guys were like,
I didn't mind that either.
Jimmy Johnson.
I would be like, wow, I'm really mainstream if you win Olympics and you win NASCAR.
yeah.
I'd feel kind of stupid.
Can I take mine back? I actually want to go with cricket.
Yeah. No, I mean, if we're just talking like you said, mainstream, I'm going to go football as well. I think football is a tough one because, like you said, it's not just one guy, and then you lose. The injuries pile up. The salary cap hits you after a while. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with to win a championship. So I think football is one of the toughest ones to do. So I'm hopping on Joe's back and I'm riding this topic to the championship.
I see what you did there. That was good.
What do you think's the easiest? Is it NBA? Definitely, because I think the NBA is the easiest.
Yeah.
Just because the big three players get to. I guess modern day NBA is the easiest now.
I would say it's the easiest to win the championship, yes, but it's probably one of the more difficult sports as a player to become like LeBron James. You know what I mean?
For sure.
To become an elite player that is renowned as one of the best ever than it is. I mean, there's just more options for you to become a great player in football. More teams, more positions to fill. Still,
but
I think the
to
NBA
win.
probably, especially nowadays, is probably the easier championship to win out of all the sports. But it's still not easy by any means.
Right. It's like 12 guys on the roster. Yeah, for a
Yeah.
player,
Yeah.
it's probably harder to be a part of
Yeah.
that championship winning team. But for a team, it's like we got two nasty players. We have LeBron and AD. We're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, well, we're gonna wreck the house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm gonna say basketball just because every year you can be like, oh, it's gonna be the Lakers versus so and so in the championship, and more than likely that's who it's gonna be.
Every year it's gonna be LeBron James versus so and so in the championship. That's what
You know
it's
what I mean?
gonna be.
Exactly.
Like in football, you could say it's gonna be the Saints and
you can go back and forth.
this team, and then it's not. Like the Saints were good, but something happened in the playoffs and knocked them out, or
Well, some of us can call it pretty good.
whatever. I mean, if you want to jump on the bandwagon, you can do whatever you want. But Tampa Bay, like a lot of people were going Tampa Bay just because of what they built, right? But we've seen it in the past where a dream team is built, like Philadelphia, a couple when they had all them, and then it lays an egg, goes 8-8, or nothing, something happens. So just because you build a dream team on the football field doesn't mean that it's always going to come true.
Yeah, and usually it doesn't. Almost, it seems like the teams that build from within and find their superstar players from within almost have more success than, like, the Patriots, the Chiefs, and so on and so on.
If Drew Brees was Drew Brees of the past, Tampa Bay wouldn't have won the Super Bowl this year.
I don't know. They played amazing. They didn't just like, it wasn't just like they just had a bunch of good players that all individually did well. They played amazing as a team in the playoffs down the stretch. They peaked at their best at the right time. Exactly what their goal was, I'm sure. When they added Leonard Fournette, added Antonio Brown, these guys said, hey, it's going to take a couple weeks for us to gel, maybe an entire season, but damn, when we peak, we're going to peak. And I think that was one of the best teams that I've seen in a long time. I mean, the Chiefs were the best team I'd seen in a long time, and they put the hurt on them.
Yeah, it was what they finished the year 8 games in a row. That's insane.
Yeah.
They clicked. But I mean,
too.
With Drew Brees, I feel like Drew Brees hasn't been Drew Brees in the last couple of years. And this is a hot take that I've had, I guess, at the end of last year in that Minnesota game. He just can't throw the ball downfield anymore. And once you get a good defense on him, watch out. But I could agree maybe a better Brees, but then we'd be talking maybe a better Brady too, because Brady is still 3 years older than him. I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay, they were the best team in the league at the end of the day. I think all the expectations, I didn't buy in them personally in the beginning, but the more I saw them play, it's like this team has to be good, right? They like it has to click at some point. And it obviously did at the right time. And who else but Tom Brady
to do it? Yeah. And Breeze in the playoffs the last 3 seasons or so has looked like a 40-year-old man who had an extremely serious shoulder injury, which is what he is. And
for sure,
that's what I kept telling everyone the last couple of years. And I didn't start saying stuff on the record, on shows and stuff until I came home from being out there, is that Drew Brees in the playoffs runs out of gas because of that shoulder injury. I know people find it hard to believe that something that happened 15 years ago can be lingering to today, but that was one of the nastiest shoulder injuries I've ever seen a quarterback suffer. And the fact that he made it that far was kind of surprising to me. And every year, come playoff time, he looked bad. He had a noodle arm out there. He looked like Peyton Manning his last year. No offense, Peyton Manning. I just like throwing jabs at him every once in a while.
And I just want to break the news that I just read right now. Drew Brees is coming back for the. No, I'm just kidding.
Way.
I'm just kidding.
He still hasn't retired.
He still hasn't retired.
For?
But come on, I do not. That's like the worst headline that I would want to read. Like if I wake up tomorrow morning and it says Drew Brees has announced that he's coming back to the Saints, I'm gonna be like, what the hell?
He won't make it through the season, dude. He won't make it through the season.
Drew Brees, go enjoy your kids, enjoy your retirement. You have nothing else to prove. The Saints in New Orleans, thank you. The Chargers from back in the day, thank you. Nick Saban, thanks you for making him a horrible NFL coach because he decided not to take you.
Him and Big Ben, I think Big Ben needs to go too. It's crazy. He's going to be like a $40 million cap hit or something crazy like that if he plays. Like, Pittsburgh's not going to be able to sign anyone. They're going to lose Juju. They're going to lose Connor. They're going to lose everybody. And that's why everyone's saying, oh, JJ Watt. It's like, what are they going to give him? The veteran minimum? Probably. I mean, I doubt he takes that to play with his brothers. But Big Ben, Breeze, I think they did their time. They won Super Bowls. I mean, Breeze should have won more, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But still, he's 40 too. Yeah. That's like
you gotta walk away from the game.
Rivers was smart.
Yeah, before the brutality side of the game puts you out. You hate to see someone lose their career in week 4 of an NFL season because they tried to play an extra season that they shouldn't even be on the field. These guys, Ben, Breeze, even Rivers, man, they should not be on the field next season because they are going to get hurt is what I'm worried about.
Well, it's not that. I just hate seeing guys with such great talent and amazing, and they just die on the field. Like
that's what it is.
And then this is what, like, if you come back and you're crap next year, that's what this generation that are growing up watching football is going to remember you. They're not going to see what we grew up with. They're not going to see the Drew Brees from, the Super Bowl day and all that. They're going to see the Drew Brees now and talk about, well, I saw Drew Brees play. He sucked. You know what I mean? Yeah, he couldn't even make it through a 16-game season. Dude had a noodle arm and everything. That's what they're going to remember. I don't like when top players fall and they don't walk away from the game before the game tells them, like, hey, you're done. Yeah. So Drew Brees, sorry, somebody should be telling you this. Somebody shouldn't be over there kissing your butt, telling you, hey, come on back. We need you. No, the Saints do not need you. Drew Brees, thank you for your time. You done.
Yeah, go get your jacket, man. Jeez.
Right. It always happens with quarterbacks too. The same thing happened like Brett Favre too. It was weird. Like Favre was like an MVP caliber player in 2009, and then in 2010 he couldn't even move.
That was it.
He was injured. It was bad. It's hard to watch. It's usually those quarterbacks. They try so hard,
hold on for dear life. Yeah.
Right. Breeze. And I mean, the Saints are screwed either way too. So this is the time to do it if you're Drew Brees for sure.
They got to rebuild anyways, like you're saying.
We'll see you in 5 years, Drew. We'll see you in Canton. Just
see you on TV, probably.
I'm being a little tough, but like I'm saying,
I'm with you.
I'm a Raider fan, but I liked watching Drew Brees play. When he was playing on Monday night, it was something to tune in to watch. When he was playing on Sunday night, it's something that you wanted to watch Drew Brees. I don't want to see a bad Drew Brees. I saw a little bit this year, and I don't want to see it anymore. I want to remember Drew Brees for who he was. So Drew Brees, see you in Canton. Go on home.
That's what it's going to be with Brady one day too. That's going to be what it is with Brady one day, where he's going to have that one season where he's not Brady anymore. And everyone's going to be like, all right, man, it's time. Now, who knows when that's going to happen? Because this dude is just ridiculous still at this age. But Brady, it also helps to have an amazing O-line, right? Because that's something that not everyone has had their whole career. He's always been upright his entire career. Very rarely you see Tom Brady get a kill shot taken on him. And he actually had one very early in his career where his head got taken off. And it's like all of a sudden you don't see Brady trying to do anything like that ever again.
Gets rid of the ball as quick as possible. That's what he does. That's why he's so good. And I mean, his offensive lines are great, but I think he makes his offensive lines better because, well, he did tear his ACL too. So I guess that's going to trigger something in your head and be like, I need to get rid of the ball as quick as possible.
Well, they changed the rules in football for Brady after that
basically
lower body hit. But like you said, Brady's not out there getting knocked around. He might take one big hit every season, but Drew Brees just broke all his ribs this season and wanted to come back. Like, really, bro? Like, that's the sign to walk away. That's the sign to walk away.
And Big Ben and Rivers have been better about it recently, I'd say in the last 3 to 5 years. But in the primes of their careers, they played like animals. Like, their body was never going to give out. And, scrambling out, trying to throw passes at the last second, stuff like that. Over time, taking all those shots, it gets to your body, man. And I played football for 8.5 total years, and I feel like I played an NFL career. And I'm only 24. I can only imagine these guys that are 40 that played that entire, high school, college 10 years, and then went and played 20 years in the NFL. Holy crap. They got to be getting beat up.
I mean, I don't know how many ex-players or that you guys have met, but like some of these old players that I've met, they don't walk gingerly like, they got that slow little, and you could tell like, and some of them are in great shape, and you're like, oh, I think he could play, but you could just tell like it took a toll on him, and it goes back to being one of the hardest championships to win, because every week you're getting knocked around, and it's tough. Like it's hard on these guys, and I know I'm going a little bit off topic of where we're at, but it's the toll that football takes on your body is not an easy one, especially when you're up there in age, 38 and above.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
that's the thing too. Like, yeah, they only play 16, but I mean, it's that bad at 16. I can't even imagine playing anymore, which I think is crazy that they're trying to extend it to 18 when they're also trying to help these concussions. That makes no sense. That seems more of a money scheme to me. But yeah, I mean, these guys practice 5 days. They're basically playing football 6 days a week, if you really think about it. Maybe 1 or 2 days off, or one film day and a day off. It is absolutely crazy. So that's kind of what I looked into it. Toughest sport. And it's really hard. It's really hard what the Patriots did. That will never, ever happen again, to have a dynasty and win year in and year out and just breed guys. And obviously then you hear guys just saying, I literally hated Bill Belichick when he coached me, but we won. I can't even imagine. Being in the NFL must be literally crazy. These guys, they go to war basically.
Yeah, I want to be the backup quarterback or like the holder, or just some simple position, just to be there around all these guys and to admire and see what they do. Because I'm sure a lot of the greatness that we see on the field on Sundays, we see that greatness in other categories in these guys' lives, just in practice and what they do outside of football as well. I will say one player that I think they should try and ask him what his diet is and spread it throughout the entire league is Shannon Sharp. I feel like that dude could get on the field right now. That dude's ridiculously fit still.
I know, it's crazy. You'll see a lot of those guys. They just like, what? Yeah, Shannon Sharp definitely looks like he could go out and post some solid numbers. He's still huge.
A fullback. At least be a fullback.
At least be on the roster. I mean, man, he's definitely better than some of these tight ends in this league.
Yeah, I look at the opposite. You guys are looking at Shannon Sharp as like, I look at some of these guys like Joe Thomas or some of these offensive linemen. There was one. Is it Hardwick from the Chargers?
Yeah, he probably couldn't even play line anymore. He's gotten down.
They just dropped like this. So to think of not only in the NFL as a lineman, every play you're getting hit and you're taking it, but you're also having to hold on to as a big guy. I already know how hard it is as a big guy to walk around. Now you're adding all the hits and stuff. So these linemen, you don't even think about what they're doing to keep their body big. Because just look at these guys. You can go look at some of these guys, like the two I just said, Joe Thomas and Hardwick, and look at the difference of their playing days till now, what they look like. And it's totally different people.
Yeah, dude, those big boys, they don't play around. That's why their careers are usually like 8 to 10 years shorter than those skill players.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir. Hey, Mike, speaking about championships and making it hard to win, this is when you should have brought up the Chargers. That's when you should have brought up the Chargers. And be like, yeah, it is hard. It is hard to win a football championship because look how many rings the Chargers have.
Yeah, because they've had such great teams in the history of the Chargers.
All of our teams suck in reality.
Exactly. I mean, really, Joe, think about it for a second.
Whether we want to admit it or not. I mean, I admit it every day I wake out of bed, but
how many good teams have the Chargers had? Like 3 in the history of the team? 5 maybe max that could potentially have won a Super Bowl.
I think the Chargers easily should have won a Super Bowl in like the late 2000s, and like the early 2010s.
Thanks, Marky Mark, butt fumble.
So I can say,
I mean, they easily, and then they lose against a 9-7 Mark Sanchez led Jets. Exactly. Reminiscing now, but they had some ballers, and they had LaDainian Tomlinson when he was probably the best running back I've ever seen.
Just bad luck.
Mike, last time the Chargers were in the Super Bowl, when was that? 94?
I think even later than that, earlier than that.
Joe, the Jets, last time Super Bowl?
1969, baby.
Super Bowl what, 3?
Super Bowl 3, 16-7, Baltimore Colts.
Well, at least I remember like it was yesterday. At least I got that going for me. At least I could say the Raiders in the Super Bowl.
The most recent, okay.
Yeah, and that's not even. That's still like what 19 years ago.
My dad talks about that 80s Super Bowl. The 49ers beat the brakes off the Chargers, like some crazy, like 55-7 or something, or 55-14. And my dad always bring it up when I was a kid. I'm like, dude, it didn't exist yet. You were a kid when that happened. Jeez.
Remember when the 49ers looked on those Chargers?
Yeah, he'd always say that.
Weren't you mad about that when they got
He'd always
smoked?
say that, yeah.
Joe Montana.
Yeah, he'd always say that.
That's hilarious.
He'd bring up Ronnie Lott every time. Ronnie Lott murdered your guy over the middle. I'm like, Dad, you were 14. I was in your nutsack.
I'm trying to think. Like, I have a pretty good memory from watching sports and stuff from when I was a kid, and I want to say I remember that game a little bit.
Yeah,
or maybe it's just highlights in my head, but I remember it. And that's the one thing I always bring up to you. Remember, I told you that I remember the 49. I don't know which 49er player said it, but for some reason, I've always remembered this, that one of the 49ers said it would be 49 years until the Chargers win another Super Bowl or go back to another Super Bowl.
just because it was 49ers that beat them.
So you still got about another couple, like 20 years.
No biggie. I'm
Maybe
pretty
like a
pretty close,
genie.
actually, because that was in the 80s. I'm pretty sure. You know, we're coming up on 40
Well,
years.
wasn't it
since
90?
then.
Was it 90? It was 90s, right?
Oh, was it?
94?
I don't even know, to be honest, Joe, because it's something that you wouldn't want to remember, even if I was alive as a Chargers fan.
It's something that you should remember. I mean, it is your team, right? 95.
My team going to the Super Bowl and getting
94
murdered
season.
in front of our same state rivals
It was 49-26.
in 95. So
And
we
it was
still
a-
have, yeah.
Well, it was a
still-
94 season, but it was a 95.
Jeez. So, my goodness, we have a long time. But that's in the window for Herbert to be like a veteran, a savvy vet.
Still better than 68, 69. It's all good.
Yeah, I see. There we go. I finally get to end the show on some sad Chargers. Chargers back down. Because Mike's always trying to bring the Chargers up. I just slap him right back down.
Well, that says a lot about you. You can't figure out ways to bash on the Chargers because there's a lot of ways to bash on the Chargers. Trust me.
There's a lot of, I mean, I don't want to go that far, but I'm just trying to say that Chargers suck.
Nelson Aguilar looked like a superstar against us.
Then he apparently cussed out his whole team too. After being the worst wide receiver in the league in 2019. I don't know about that. If I was a player, I'd just be like, all right, Butterfingers. Don't cuss me out, man.
That's one of my favorite clips too. You ever see that guy? He's like at a fire, and he's like, it's a news crew is talking to this dude in Philadelphia, and the guy's like catching people at a fire, like they're throwing them off, and he's catching them, and they're like, "Oh, you caught him?" He's like, "Yeah, unlike my guy in Aguilar."
Oh, I actually have seen that. Yeah. That's when you know it's. I mean,
like
hey,
straight blasted him.
like Philly.
So why is that in
absolutely-
your head when you're doing that?
I don't know. Like we find clips like that, and like me and my buddies will always send it to each other and be like, unlike my dude Aguilar. Like I don't know. I think Nelson Aguilar even hooked that dude up with free tickets. I think
He did. He did.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
he
cool.
hooked that guy up big.
But yeah, this dude's over there coming out of fires, and he's still talking football.
Great route
That's
runner,
good
though.
sports.
Great route runner.
Joe, I want to thank you. You stepped into the war zone and you did amazing. You did great. You're welcome back anytime. Guys, make sure you guys check him out. Turn up the Jets, turn up the facts, married to the game. He's everywhere. Joe is everywhere. But you know where he's not going to be? Somewhere. Mike, this is where I'm going to finish right here. Mike, I'll see you on Friday night.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Joe, let's just end this show. Let's just end this show before Mike looks even worse. This is why people turn. Now you know, Joe, I'm going to have to get you a Team Joe show just because you are, your name's Joe, so it fits, right? You just come on over to Team Joe. Every Friday night, watch me knock down Mike. But
The Joe thing's fair. I'll go ahead and say that. I mean, you wouldn't want a Team Mike shirt when there's a Team Joe shirt like out there and available.
True. And my dad's Mike, so that makes maybe.
Can I get your dad on my side?
See again, Mike, Joe, the most mainstream names ever. Like,